Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar, which is introducing SquaredUp for managed service providers, talking about our dashboards that do more. So, sending a very warm welcome to everyone that is joining us today. Really looking forward to discussing exactly what value SquaredUp brings to MSPs. So, we're going to jump into the agenda. We're going to be quite snappy today, so not to worry, it's definitely not going to be death by PowerPoint, but we do have some key things to cover. So there'll be a welcome from myself, a few housekeeping notes, and we'll introduce you to the team that are going to be answering some of your questions at the end of the session. We'll talk a little bit about Squared Up and the business, the MSP Visibility Challenge, and probably some of the reasons why a few of you are here today. We'll do some use cases that MSPs love and some of the reasons why our customers have been really happy with SquaredUp. And then we will do a live demo at the end, and you'll have time for a Q&A session, and also we will wrap up. So next then, just a couple housekeeping things. So this session is being recorded. So for all of the attendees, we will send out an email at the end of the session with the recording and also some links where you can explore a little bit more about SquaredUp or reach out to us if you need to. There will be time for Q&A at the end. So if you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat as we go, and we can pick those up at the end. So on the call today, we have a few different members of the team that are here to support you and answer your questions. So we have Dan Watts, who is one of our DevRel engineers. We have Casey Collins, who's one of our technical account managers, and Dave Clark, who's one of our product managers. And then myself, Georgia. Great to have you all here today. My background for the last kind of nearly 5 years now has been working with managed service providers or MSPs like yourself to optimize their operational intelligence. I used to work at a cloud distributor or marketplace called Packstate. So I've had a lot of experience with MSPs across EMEA, working with them to meet their business goals and enhance their growth opportunities. So yeah, why did I join SquaredUp? It was one of the reasons why I was really excited to join SquaredUp is because of the value proposition that SquaredUp brings to the market in terms of its observability tool. So SquaredUp was actually founded in 2011, and it was created to tackle a problem that we're definitely seeing that's more prevalent today. So we're often drowning in data but starved of information. And from that, we mean that there are lots of data sources that we can identify. There's lots of places that we can bring in data from. With the evolution of AI, that's becoming even more prevalent. But actually, it can be really difficult to get the insights that we need out of the information. And that's kind of where SquaredUp was born. So SquaredUp puts your data into context. It gives you the big picture, and it enables you to visualize your data to be able to get the insights that you need. Just a little bit about the business as well. So SquaredUp is actually a B Corp. We're B Corp certified. If you're not familiar with what a B Corp is, B Corps are purpose-driven businesses, and they aim to create value for all stakeholders, not just shareholders. So we're really big on considering the impact of our decisions as a business on our employees, our customers, suppliers, community, and the environment. So everything we do has those things in mind. And we've also been recognised as a top workplace by Great Place to Work, which focuses on employee feedback, trust, innovation, and leadership. So yeah, there's quite a rigorous process to get selected for both B Corp and Best Places to Work. And both of these things really highlight the focus that SquaredUp has on empowering its local communities, and being a business for good as well as for profit. Outside of this, you can see on the left where we have our offices. So we have an office based in Boston and a team out there. We have our main headquarters just outside London in Maidenhead, but we are a fully remote company. So we do go into the office sometimes for different events or to collaborate as a team. And then we also have a team in India as well. So our next slide then, and some of the reasons why you might be here today is there are lots of common challenges for MSPs that really resonate with the value that SquaredUp can bring. And we have seen more recently that we've had a lot of interest from MSPs coming to us to solve these challenges. So lack of visibility across tenants and services. Most MSPs using over 8 tools to be able to get the insights that they need. Broken client reporting and SLA dashboards. A lot of MSPs don't currently have SLA dashboards, and sometimes they don't know that these agreements have been broken until a problem arises. Difficulty providing customers with transparency into their environments and proving your value to customers as an MSP. No proactive monitoring and troubleshooting of key health insights, difficulty tracking costs, particularly in Azure and AWS, tough to maintain improvement of security protocols with today's cyber attacks and the proficiency of them. This is something that all MSPs should be really focused on, but it can be very difficult to maintain this improvement. And significant time managing Microsoft tenants efficiently and tenants in general. So there are some of the common challenges that you might be resonating with. But how does this feel? So it might feel that you're constantly spinning lots of plates. This is definitely an analogy that a lot of MSPs that I speak to can relate with. It's constantly a juggling act, and it can be very difficult to shift from a reactive to a proactive approach. So, Squared Up solution in a nutshell, then, how do we address this? Um, how does Squared Up kind of meet these challenges? So, in a nutshell, unified monitoring and visibility. So, Squared Up can unify dashboards across 70 different plugins or data sources. And a plugin and a data source essentially means the same thing. Um, but an example of this would be like M365, Azure, and we do have 70 of these built out and counting. We also support customer growth and retainment for MSPs, so we can give you multi-tenant views, which is ideal for fast-growing MSPs, or if you're managing multiple clients across different verticals. If you are managing different tenants across different solutions, this is great for you. Building customer trust and security compliance, as I mentioned, providing customized reporting for internal opportunities and external client transparency. So how does SquaredUp bring these solutions to MSPs like yourself to solve your challenges? So the first one, just click onto the slide. So the first one would be unified monitoring and visibility. So we can monitor infrastructure and ticketing systems. We can develop multi-cloud dashboards. We can help you to visualize your service delivery and security posture. We can correlate data across tools, so we can get that kind of like cross-pollination going across different types of data sources as well to drive insights. We can create custom dashboards for Microsoft workloads as well. Secondly, automation and efficiency. So we can automate offboarding and onboarding processes with templates and using Terraform, which Dan will go into a little bit later in his demo. We can also automate exports and secure sharing with clients. So some of the things that our MSPs do is they share out dashboards with their clients via secure links so that their customers can gain insights into their own kind of business that the MSP is managing or their own solution stack. This can also be done via user creation, which Dan will also touch on later. We can also automate manual reporting workflows, and we can ensure that we deliver template-driven onboarding at scale as well. Also, reporting and client engagement. So this is really useful for service level agreement tracking and compliance dashboards here. So we do have some service delivery teams that have come to us who have started to use this as part of their own workflows, getting dashboards up on TVs in the office, starting to be really proactive so that they're able to see problems before they arise or before it even impacts the customer. They can also create tiered reporting for clients. So we do have some MSPs MSPs that have like a gold, silver, bronze package for clients, or provide clients with different types of packages depending on the work that they do for them. So you could build out tiered programs within the product for clients where certain clients receive different insights, or you want to gain deeper insights for different type of clients. This is also something that we could do within the product. You can highlight key performance indicators, service health, and cost metrics per customer to really keep an eye on how things are going proactively as well. Cost optimization and license hygiene, so you can really easily track and see if there's any wastage in your environments, if there's anything that needs to be closed down that hasn't been, and also how much of the licenses are being used as well. And then you can also share dashboards with clients and secure links or user capabilities, as I touched on earlier. And then finally, innovation and extensibility. So some of the things that MSPs that we've spoken to have done with the product is use Copilot to assist query writing. So if they want to build out their own bespoke integrations, you can do this via web APIs or PowerShells, which I'll get onto in a minute, and Copilot can assist this. We do have a SquaredUp community in which customers can collaborate and build out dashboard templates as well. However, we do have those out of the box integrations and support for custom APIs, PowerShells, and Terraform from the SquaredUp team. And then we have tenant specific workspaces with role-based access control as an option as well. So these are all the things that could be innovated within the product or kind of using different tools. So really our main focus is to support you from going from maybe more reactive in some of these areas to proactive. According to Forbes Tech Council, MSPs that leverage data, analytics, AI, and automation to be proactive are not only delivering better customer service, but they're also reducing workloads by preventing labor intensive incidents before they occur. And the majority of MSPs that are doing this really are becoming some of the leading MSPs, which are reporting higher customer satisfaction and retention rates as a result. So here you can see some of the most popular integrations or data sources, as I mentioned earlier, for MSPs. We've got Microsoft Azure in here, AWS, SolarWinds, Halo PSA, M365. And then we also have the web API and PowerShell integrations that can be built into the product as well. So Ninja RMM is one that's coming up consistently that a lot of MSPs are starting to think about building in via the web API. And we do track this as a business. So the volume of integrations that are being built via our web API, that can inform the bespoke data source integrations that we build out as well. Halo PSA is one that's been really popular recently for MSPs, and we do have a partnership with them to streamline kind of some of those PSA tool insights. So Avidi is a leading Nordics MSP, and this is one of the case studies that we have with an MSP that's used SquaredUp really successfully. So I believe they might be on the call today, and a really warm welcome to you, Avidi, if you're here. But Avidi used SquaredUp for their Azure cost monitoring. So they could see all of their customer environments and services in one place. They created a dedicated workspace for each customer with bespoke dashboards covering health, cost governance, and application monitoring. And this enabled secure roles-based access and clear visibility for both Avidi and their clients. So using SquaredUp's automation features, including Terraform, Avidi could provision new customer workspaces and dashboards at scale, supporting both their growth and their operational efficiency. So you can see here on the slide a example of Avidi's customers broken down within their organization and the cost monitoring that they've been able to do. And this is just a quote from Andre at Avidi. So he said, "This was the perfect single pane of glass for our needs. Our support team doesn't have to use 8 different sites to get the whole picture of a customer's stack or health. they can just go to SquaredUp and get the complete picture, which is awesome. And if you have any questions for a VD, you can feel free to pop them in the chat, or speak to us on some of the things that they've done, and we'll actually share the case study. Yeah, thank you, Lee, in the chat just now, so you can go in and have a little look at that in more detail if you'd like to. So the exciting part of the webinar, seeing it in action. So I'm going to pass over to Dan Watts to go over the demo of the product and put some of the things that I've been speaking about into visualization. Thanks, Dan. Over to you.
Thanks, Georgia. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all on this afternoon. I am a solutions engineer / DevRel engineer at SquaredUp. A few of you may have seen me before. Shout out to Avidi. So I'm here today to sort of present the MSP use case in a live demo. So I'm going to just pull my screen over at the moment. Here we go. It's coming up now. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that. So starting off, what you're seeing here is I guess, kind of a basic dashboard that you're seeing here in SquaredUp Cloud. A lot of this is Halo PSA powered in this case to get these metrics, but as you can see, we're getting some key ones that MSPs are going to be looking for. So things like your invoices, throughout the month or any custom time frame, as well as the clients they belong to, as well as being able to jump directly into the native service where this data is coming from. In this case, it's Halo PSA. So if I were to click on one of these invoices, it would take me to that solution, to that place in Halo PSA. We also have a large amount of raw data. We can make the nice visualizations we can see at the top here. So this is all sort of invoice focused and cost focused. We also have things for like assets. So if you're an MSP that deals with physical items, so let's say like laptop servers, you can sort of visualize where at a glance which customers they're going to, the amounts that are going to each customer, and their locations. We've also got the key one tickets as well. Every MSP gets tickets for good reasons or bad. And this really helps you see and be proactive in the amount of tickets you have and where they're coming from. So in the bottom right here, we've got a raw list of some tickets. And again, in this case, it's coming from Halo PSA, but it could come from any ticket solution or one of our other plugins. And as you can see, we've got a huge amount of data that we're being able to pull in and then make some simple visualizations off the back of this. So in this case, we've got the open tickets by status. We could have this open tickets by client or customer, and we could do it by agent as well. It's really sort of up to you how you want to visualize that. As well as this in the bottom one here, this one's quite a cool one. It's pertains to SLAs, which are obviously a very, very key thing to keep within for your customers, not only for customer satisfaction, but also just meeting your contractual obligations. So in this case, we're looking at the customer satisfaction SLA from Halo PSA. Again, you could do ticket response times instead. So there's a lot you can do there as well. So this dashboard in particular is really showing off what you care about, I guess, from an internal point of view as an MSP. So this is going to be, operationally what's going on within your MSP business, and yeah, gives you a sense of business intelligence across what's going on in, as an MSP. So as I said, this is all Halo PSA powered. As you can see on the left-hand side here, we've got the Halo PSA plugin added under our data source list. We also have a few others that I can jump to. So I've got Azure and Microsoft 365. I guess these are going to be more for if you're offering these as a service to your customers or you're managing these services. Again, it helps you be really proactive. So if I were to jump into this data source library, you can sort of see what kind of plugins are available to you. This is a huge list essentially, and it really encompasses a lot of services, and not even just ones for MSPs, but we've got your PSA services, we've got your cloud infrastructure services, developer teams, raw database data as well that you can connect to. The list really goes on. So let's say if I wanted to add like an AWS data source, I can just type in AWS, I can connect it to one of my customer tenants or a organization that I'm managing on behalf of my customers as an MSP. I can click on this, and then you have a guided experience in terms of adding this plugin to your SquaredUp environment. It is also possible, as you sort of saw here, in this case, we've got two M365 tenants, and that's really to illustrate that there's no real limit in terms of having duplicate plugins added. So you can have, let's say you have 10 customers, there's really nothing stopping you from adding 10 or more M365 plugins and then showcasing that data alongside each other. So adding some data is like really simple to this. So if I were to edit this dashboard, as you can see, everything's very sort of click and draggable. There's no real need to sort of write any structured code for these dashboards. It's really easy from a UI point of view. So I just added a tile. I can then jump into this data editor where I can see the data that's available to me. So I can add in some M365 data, some Azure data, or just some Halo PSA data, or anything else that we've added. In this case, I'm going to choose Halo PSA. We have a bunch of sort of pre-made ones for you. These are called data streams, where you're able to sort of click on and sort of drag and configure without the use of any SQL or database querying. It's all very easy to do. In this case, if I want to get like a deeper look into some of the reports I've built in Halo, I can click on report data. What it's going to do there is bring my actual list of reports from Halo in as a clickable list. So let's say I'm looking for my billable hours for my agents. I'll type in bill, and we'll look at outstanding billable time. And straight away, in half a second, I've got data back on my report from Halo PSA. Let's say I want to sort of format this into numbers or currencies. It's all very simple to do that. In this case, I'll format them as numbers. And then straight away, I can then, if this was more complicated data, I can then do some shaping to shape to groups of customers. If it was a list of tickets, I could, filter to just that one customer if I wanted to, if I really want to look at or build a dashboard for particular customers. In this case, the data is pretty nice and ready for me to visualize. So I can then go to the right-hand side and choose to edit the visualization that's being shown. So I can choose a bunch of these straight away. I'll stick with the bar graph. I can also at this point enable monitoring. So if I turn on monitoring here, I can monitor things like if an SLA has been breached, or an SLA or a customer is too low on their satisfaction rating, or a delivery time for a project is too high. I can set a monitor with some conditions. In this case, the billable hours aren't super realistic here, but let's say that anything over 20 billable hours is a problem. So we'll do that. It's going to flash red. And when I save that, my new tile will appear on the dashboard, really easily. So it's really easy to get some data in here, again, without any code or SQL or API queries. And straight away, you'll see it sort of flashing red. So this is, again, something that will help you be proactive as an MSP. Again, we've seen MSPs that have, monitors set up on their SLA being breached, that kind of thing. It's really quite a strong way of being proactive in those cases and sort of putting a stop to it early. If I jump over to my monitor section, that monitor I've just added will show up in this section. I've got a couple in here actually, but this one I've just made. I can then add a notification rule to send it out to sort of Slack or Teams. Again, just helping you be proactive in spotting issues, stamping out SLA related issues, or any issue that you're monitoring really. So you have a lot of options there. Jumping back into the dashboard, again, this is all internal MSP focused, but let's say I want to see some information on my customer's actual tenant. So in this case, I'll use M365. If I click on the drop down next to any of these plugins, I will have our out of the box dashboards. So these aren't ones that anyone has. You don't have to go in and make. Essentially, we've done them and we've provided them to you. So if I click on the M365 usage drop down, these are the dashboards that are going to be ready made for me out of the box. So I can, let's say I want to see my license usage. In this case, maybe let's say it's like a customer. So it's going to load that dashboard. I think this one is pretty big, and my laptop is struggling slightly. So we'll let it load for 2 seconds. Oh, there you go. Like I said, my laptop is struggling with the sharing of the screen, but this is loading a particularly large dashboard. And as you can see, we get a nice overview straight away. Again, I've not had to make this dashboard. I can save it and copy it and edit it out of the box, but straight away, without any real need to do anything apart from connect the data source, I've straight away got usage on my custom, an understanding of my customers' license usage. I can go even deeper and look at activations or Outlook or particular service usage. I can also look at sort of device management policies. So let's say we're managing some devices here. I can look at my compliance overview with Intune in this case. Again, it's like a pretty big dashboard with some granular data. So we'll let that load. And straight away, we're seeing, our device policy. So again, if you're an MSP that is managing things like devices or things like that, this is also quite powerful. Same goes for Azure. Let's say we just want to see an overview of our cloud costs. This one's a bit simple, so it's going to load a bit quicker. But we've got a very simple understanding of our cloud costs for Azure. And again, there's no real limit to the amount of plugins you can have in tandem here. So you can smash together, a total view of all of your customers, cloud cost, let's say in this instance, or you can keep it separate into a per customer view. So we also have a few other features as well. So jumping back into the dashboard, let's say we've now got a nice sort of dashboard to look at. We want to then showcase this to our customers. So we'll click the share button. We have a full access control system where I can manage particular access. I'll just leave myself on for now, but I could add via SSO or otherwise particular people via their email addresses, or I can generate a read-only link, which will generate essentially the same version of this dashboard, but it's not editable. So this is great for things like wallboards, sharing with your customers externally, and generally just sharing around to your other team members as well. And then also, we have our roll-up view. So we have a workspace system. So each of these will be a separate area for you to have separate dashboards and plugins and monitors. Typically, this can be anything for different applications, teams. A lot of MSPs we see will have it set up like this. So if I jump into what we call the organization view, which is our overall view of the whole organization, we can get a big understanding from a big picture view as to what's going on overall. But if I'm really concerned with just what my customers are doing, I can tag them. So let's say I'm just looking at my customers. I can filter down the view to customers ABC, and you can see customer C is red. It's following the monitor I set up earlier. So you get a big understanding view of what's going on with your customers, and you can sort of jump in and see what's going on. So if I clicked on this, it would take me to that area where I can see, there may be issues with VM compute. So just lastly, Georgia mentioned we also have a Terraform provider, and this really answers the question of how am I going to scale this, right? So let's say we have already 100 customers. How am I going to sort of easily build these dashboards out for all of those customers? So what we have here, just bringing this up, like I said, is a Terraform provider. If you don't know what Terraform is essentially infrastructure as code, where you can build out dashboards and workspaces or other features of ours via Terraform code. In this case, all I'm doing is provisioning a workspace and a singular dashboard. So once that's written up, as you can see, we've got the JSON for the dashboard. This would be copyable to other customers, very easy to adapt to other customers' data. If I do Terraform plan, what this is going to do is sort of show me what it's going to build. So in this case, we're going to create a workspace and a dashboard. So let's say Terraform apply. Apologies if the text is a little bit small. So again, it's going to show me what it's going to make. I'll hit yes. So it's going to go ahead. As you can see, it's made a workspace and it's made a dashboard. So now if I jump back to SquaredUp, and I'll jump back to this view. If I now go into my workspace, I think I called it something like Terraform, my Terraform workspace, click on that straight away. Straight away, I've got a very simple dashboard, but I could outfit this with plugins and other data to show my customers as well. If I then wanted to sort of expand on this and do something else in addition, so let's say I've just signed on another customer, I can then add in a second section. So as you can see, SquaredUp dashboard, second dashboard. This is, let's say, for another customer that's just jumped on. I can then add this to my code, make sure I save it. Terraform plan one more time. Oh, I think we've got, it's because I haven't destroyed it actually. Let's redo this. Okay, so it's going to fetch that state. I'm just going to, just to keep it clean, I'll remove what I've just done first. So now that will be gone. And let's say now I want to add this. We'll try one more time. So now it's going to add 3 things. So it's got my additional customer. You wouldn't usually have to wipe this every time. You could just update it. I'm just doing this for cleanness sake. And then we'll do Terraform apply. I'll say yes to that. It's going to create my new dashboards. It's got 3 added now. So now jumping back into SquaredUp. Jump back into my Terraform workspace, and now as you can see, I've got an extra dashboard. Again, really simple example. In reality, you'd have your plugins attached and your data attached, but this just shows that it's really easy. If you've got 100, 200, thousands of customers, you can just replicate these dashboards using Terraform or via our API across your entire customer suite, essentially. Cool. So yeah, that about wraps it up for me. I'm just going to hand back to Georgia at this point and take it away.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for the demo. That was great. So, yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed that. And just kind of to go back to our presentation here. So our final couple of slides was around our Q&A. So if anyone has any questions that they would like us to answer live whilst we're on the call, feel free to type them in the chat. We have Dan here. We also have our product manager Dave and our technical account manager Casey that can answer any questions that you might have. So feel free to pop them in if you do have anything. Okay, haven't seen anything just yet. But if not, if you're feeling a bit shy or you want to go away and have a think about some of the questions that you might have, we do have some other next steps for you that you can action. So as I mentioned earlier, after this call, I'll send out an email with the link to this recording so you can rewatch anything. But it will also include links to the VD case study that I spoke about, which goes into exactly what they did with SquaredUp to optimize their proactivity as an MSP in more detail. It will also include a link to book a call. So obviously every MSP is different. Every use case for SquaredUp is different. So if you'd like to book a call to answer some questions, to ask some questions with us and exactly understand how your MSP might benefit from SquaredUp, there'll be a link in there to do that. You can also sign up to SquaredUp for free. We do have a tiered licensing model, but you can sign up to the product for free, or you can also take out an enterprise trial with us, which doesn't need to be for an enterprise organization, but just gives you access to all of the features and functionality of SquaredUp for 30 days. So you can request to take one of those, or you could learn more via our SquaredUp docs section or some links on the website. So I'll share out all of this information, as I've said, in an email, but there is also a Calendly link in the chat if you'd like to book a call to discuss how your MSP could specifically benefit from SquaredUp and some of the data sources that you have or integrations that might be built out. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you about SquaredUp today, and hopefully this has been helpful. If you do have any questions, you can always reach out to us or book in a call, and have a great rest of your day. Take care. Thank you.